Hello YouTube. I just realized as I was finishing up another video about my garden over there, I was looking out into my orchard trees, which, as I said, there's a couple new ones planted in. What came to mind was, if you look way off in the distance, see that giant windmill? It made me realize something, because what's right behind that giant windmill is a massive hog fattening barn. The reason I bring this up is I know I have some homesteaders that watch this, but I know I also have some preppers that do watch this channel. And what I'd like to point out to some people, and I know it's been mentioned by others before, sorry, had to put the Ryan Coke down, is know your area. So for instance, if there was a horrible situation, now keep in mind, that's my closest neighbor. They're a large family, by which I mean they're the patriarch and they have several sons that are older than me. In fact, way back there is one of his sons. Who owns this hog barn back there? So if something were to go horribly wrong, for instance, I could liberate many hogs, by which I mean go deal with them really quickly, herd some through. There's paths actually through these fields. There's a ditch there, but pigs are a very funny herd animal. You can herd pigs. They're not as nice to herd as sheep. They're ignorant animals, but I mean, I could very easily herd some back over here into my own pastures and paddocks. That's my barn with horses in it at the moment. No, they're not mine. I don't have the money to throw hay away. So I mean, there's a resource there. Up the road, 2 kilometers. I'm sorry, I'm going to say kilometers because, well, this is Ontario Homestead and it's Ontario, Canada. It's not Ontario, California. We have a little bit more conservative views here and a lot more guns. Probably about the same amount of pot though. But for instance, as I say, there's my one neighbor, and beside their place, that's a giant grain bin there. Sorry, I think I'm shooting you the finger. So it's full of corn. Now it's field corn, but that's something you can break down, bust down. You could make flour out of that corn. It is humanly edible. You can make booze out of it. You gotta know what you're doing, but you could. But I mean, for livestock purposes, there's corn there to be able to trade with them. I could get corn out of those bins even if there's no power. See if I can zoom in maybe here, guys. There we go. Now that large, no, I can't work a camera. That large warehouse to the left is actually a chemical and fertilizer storage. These guys are such big farmers. I think they work almost 10,000 acres total with all the families between what they own and what they rent. So for one, there's fertilizer there. Also, in another instance, if you know some of your chemical probabilities, you know how to do some other things with that for more of my scarier prepper friends. And 2 kilometers up the road, as I said, there's a chicken barn. That's an egg layer barn, but I mean, you could eat those too, but also eggs. That, guys, is my bee shack. It just holds my equipment and stuff. It actually was, well, you know what? I'll let you guys guess as to what that building originally was. My father bought it years ago. It is heavy as hell. It's everything my tractor can lift to drag it around. It's way heavier than it looks. But if you can guess what that building originally was, and yes, you're right, I do need to paint it. Also, the bins are coming down. But about 4 kilometers as the crow flies that direction, there's also a private spring-fed pond that is full of fish. Literally, you can fish with a shovel there. A little bit of bread, sprinkle it on the ground, and fish just boil up to the water. It's full of bluegill. There is some perch and some other weird fish that I've never figured out what it is. It's fun to catch. It's great for the kids because they cast the line and they pull in a fish, which hopefully we'll be doing back in this area over here within the next 2 years, digging a pond for ourselves. Because hey, I own the ground. Why not? I want a pond. And if you really want to look at a lot of things, I think a great reason for for having stuff is because I wanted it. Also for irrigation. That's what I'm telling my wife. It's for irrigation, but I'm gonna be honest with you, I just want a fishing pond so I can go hide and catch fish all day by myself. But like I said, know your area. I mean, I did make a comment on one of Mike Helton's videos the other day, who, if you're not subscribed to Mike Helton Survival, look him out. I'd put a link. Let me check. I'll put a link right. No, I won't, because I still don't know how to do that. I've done all this with my cell phone. I've never even got on a computer with YouTube yet, guys. Maybe one day my wife will teach me how to, you know, work a keyboard. But I did a response the other day where he was talking about having to bug out, and I made the statement of, I'm in a really bad spot because I've basically pre-bugged out, and I think I'd actually have a harder time trying to collect up stuff to bug out. So it's something I got to think about. But other than windstorms, I'm pretty safe out here. There's no fires that could touch me. I mean, other than realistically the military coming and kicking me off my land, that's really all I have to worry about for here, for having to leave my area. Otherwise, I have generators and stuff to take care of some things. We're looking at doing some solar panels and stuff as an experiment. But yeah, just like I say, know your area a little bit. I'm lucky. I have really good neighbors. They leave me alone, I leave them alone. But when something happens, for instance, like the neighbor over there had a barn fire a few years ago, and our entire neighborhood pulled over and pulled together and really took care of that. If you want to talk about a horrible, horrible deal, that was it. Thanks for watching, guys. Bye.